Buzzard's Roost is in 2 Canadian provinces. We are in Alberta and British Columbia. We've been there for about a year and a half. So with the tariffs, we won't plan to grow into other places in Canada this year. I just don't think that anyone would be interested.
A few years back, I came across the toasted fruit. Wow. To go on there every year. So I was like, I thought for sure that's what it was going to be. Well, you can shoot to be in Survivor.
We were looking at next year growing in Europe. Having lived in England, I understand they love Scotch. They're beginning to talk about their own English whiskey. So with these tariffs, I don't think they're going to be interested in bourbon. We were just beginning to grow a taste for bourbon there, and I think this will squash that. So what it does for us is it just sort of puts a lid on where we can grow. One of the other things I worry about is the large companies that before had spent a lot of their time in international sales are now going to be putting more emphasis on the U.S. So more competition for us.
We're working a deal to hit New Brunswick, right there, which is like right above Maine, and they are a smaller province, but they are a very critical province. So for New Brunswick, they have the same criteria that you need to get into the LCBO, which is here, it's Ontario. So that's the largest province. It takes most of the American product in there. So for us, I mean, it's also a reciprocal factor. So hey, we can get into New Brunswick, we learn the ropes of the Canadian market, and then we're able to then move into the LCBO. That's the ultimate goal. And for us, that's just put everything in the whole Canadian growth strategy is now on pause. It's just the uncertainty. Long term, if we know either way long term, that's fine. That's fine. We'll pivot and make the adjustments necessary regardless. But the uncertainty of 30 days or on and off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, that's just very difficult for an actual producer, like a manufacturer. We can't pivot that quickly. In moderation, but the cleaner spirits you drink, the better y'all. These are 30 gallons, these are 53. These are actually in the midst of, we're working with, I don't know if we can release this information yet, but we're working with the HSBCU in the state, and we're helping them run an experiment. Part of the expansion is being able to go into the Canadian market, which is a huge market. There are neighbors, there are brothers, and this is something that we've kind of been working on behind the scenes, and all of a sudden, this hard work that we've had is now being impacted. These lights here, lights going up, we got Anthony back here putting some work in.
So we're going to go from this light to this light right here. One by the door, and then one that goes all the way over here.
Okay.
And another one that's got to go by the door. I call them weights.
You got my next destination really.
I think tariffs does affect us a whole lot in terms of our business for sure. We are the smallest players in the business, but we get affected the most for sure. We get a lot of American tourists coming to visit us in the summer. Regardless, Victoria is a beautiful location, so we also see tourists all year round. And a lot of those tourists actually come here just looking for bourbons. You know, a lot of people have actually suggested that we take off some of the bourbon off the shelf, but for us, we are a super small business, as I said, and we don't have the luxury. We have paid for that inventory already. We don't have the luxury to take it out, and it's not something where we can just go out and replace or exchange it for something else. So, of course, we're sitting on a whole lot of bourbon inventory, and then, you know, it's something that costs us money, and so we have to keep it on the shelf, and we have to try and navigate this as much as possible. I think for us, it would be on a day-to-day basis when it runs out. I think we'll come up with a plan. Things are changing every single day, so it's hard for us to, you know, commit to something or predict to something and say, you know, we're going to change our menus or change something at all, because, you know, for all we know, next week something might change and the bourbon's back on the shelf. So for now, we're just taking it day by day basis.
It's a lose-lose proposition for the distilled spirits industry, and it doesn't benefit either government. We're very anxious about the economic harm that this could have on our industry, and we're going to do our part to play a positive role with all the governments involved to encourage them to really untangle this great industry from the broader challenges that are underway.
The challenge for us right now is that Trump is threatening a whole range of tariffs on Canadian goods on April 2nd. And we will be forced to respond in kind then. The plan is to apply them, if this comes about, largely on American consumer goods. And goods that have high economic impact in Republican states and have high symbolic impact as well. I'm thinking of things like bourbon, and of course they've been pulled off the shelves in most government-owned liquor stores anyway. So high profile, yes, those products you'll see an increase in prices.